Hello, sis, from wherever you are in the world. I welcome you. I'm Maggie Lazarre. I am a retired nurse practitioner here in Panama, retired full-time. I've decided to do this free webinar to give you the tea, the steps 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 10 steps. Those steps in a concise manner to tell you what you need to do to successfully relocate to Panama and any other place that you are considering. Because, sis, most of you, my viewers, are from the US, and I so empathize with how you must be feeling right now, the anxiety, the sense of you feel like you're losing your footage, right? Because the future seems quite uncertain. But remember, you are my single older women, probably on Social Security, who are considering, where could I go? Where can I lay my head where I can have some peace? Well, you've come to the right place. All right, sis? First of all, if you are considering retiring abroad, I'm not saying just moving abroad, because if you're in this age bracket, 60 plus all the way to 80, 90, we have a 97-year-old here. Our needs and concerns are different than a family, right? Or a young person. And I'm talking to you from a point of reference of someone who has done it successfully, is fully retired abroad, and totally enjoying herself. Happy, safe, peaceful, which are the things that you value the most. All right? So let's get going. I'm not going to tell you my story because it would take too long, but you need to understand that when you decide you want to move abroad, you have to analyze yourself. You have to analyze your reasons for wanting to do so. Yes, the situation is dire. Yes, you are stressed. But if you don't do the homework and you don't, follow a certain plan and make sure that you're positioning yourself so you can have the best outcome, it could be, you know, you may not succeed because there are some people who have tried it without doing the homework, and it may be that you can still do it, but you have to be aware of what the challenges might be and address some of them before you make the leap. You take the leap. All right. Number one, why do you want to move? Why do you want to retire abroad? Know your why. My why is very simple. I think it wasn't finances were not the was, it wasn't the first reason. My biggest reason was I did not want to grow old in America, in the system where you end up in a nursing home where people supposedly care for you. I don't care what you've heard or read about being in a nursing home. This is not a desirable option for most people. I don't know anybody who said, "Oh, I'm super happy here. That was my decision. I've always wanted to be in a nursing home." And I've been a nurse for 43 years. I was. Well, now it's longer, but I was. People who end up there out there by force, it was a last resort. That was my number one. And of course, the second reason that is that of most people is that you wanted your little dollar that you have to stretch further, cost of living, right? Those were my two why. What is your why? Can you answer it just like that? You have to have a strong why, sis. Because if you don't, when the challenges come, when you're going through all these points, you're going to lose courage. You're going to say, "Oh my God, this is so hard." It is hard. But if your why is strong enough, you're going to stick to it. What is your why? Right? Are you suited? Number two, are you suited to being a foreigner, an older single woman, alone, living alone in a foreign land? What are the things that what are the traits you should have to be successful at it? You've traveled abroad, You used to being around other people who don't look like you. You appreciate diversity. People who speak different languages may do things differently. And your patience comes into play that, hey, I'm in somebody else's home, somebody else's land, then it's up to me to adapt. Or do you come across as everybody should cater to me? Are you a problem solver? Can you roll with the punches? Can you adjust and adapt? Not everybody can do that, sis. You need to look at yourself. Are you open to learning a new language? Openness and flexibility are huge for anyone who wants to consider moving abroad. But when it's somebody who's older, you know how they say we take pride in saying, I am set in my ways. That's just the way I roll. Sis, that could be a hindrance. All right? So look at yourself. I'm going to put the self-assessment in the description as an attachment to this video so you can assess yourself. And it's not to make you feel bad. It is to give you concrete data for you to look at yourself in an objective way and not get into this process with stars in your eyes. You're not 20, you're not 30. All right, so understand that. That was number 2. Number 3, assess your situation. How are your finances? How much debt are you in? Do you own your home outright? What is your income stream? Do your balance sheet, your income and loss statement. How much do I have coming in? What are my liabilities, my expenses? How much do I have left at the end of the month? And if you choose to move abroad, what other ways are you going to bring more income? Are you going to sell your house? Are you going to rent it? You're going to lease it? Do you have rental properties? Do you have investments? You got to look at the numbers. If you need to go talk to your CPA, your accountant, do it. If you need to go to the financial advisor, do it. If you're not sure how to do it, ask somebody with some experience in finances to look at your situation. Tell me, do you have a large credit card debt? What about any other responsibilities? Are you responsible for aging parents? You can't say, I'm leaving, and then you have all this stuff to worry about. You won't be able to do it, sis. You got to be objective, be clear-headed. You cannot romanticize this process. So look at your finances, do the number, crunch the numbers, and see if you can make it. That was number 3, right? Number 4, explore some places. What are some places that you are considering moving to? My story, again, if you want to watch another video when I talk about how I ended up in Panama, that's an interesting story. But you may have some preferences. Maybe you said, oh, I visited this area when I was young. I always said I want to go back. I like this about it, that about it, that about it. I have another form I can put at the end for you to look at how you compare different countries. And hopefully when you crunch the numbers and you look at all the factors, you can come to about 2, or maybe you zero in on 1, like Panama. It's a possibility. But you see, that whole exercise gives you introspection, and it also shows you your analytical power. Can you analyze data, a situation, without getting your feelings in the way and the external stuff that's going around? We know that. We feel you. But you can be running from one thing and then falling into another. That's the danger. That's why we're talking about this right now. All right? So look at a country. And what are the things that you're looking at? The places. Location. How far away is it from where you are? Is it important for you to be able to do a short flight back home? That wasn't a concern for me, but it might be for you. What about the language? What language do they speak? Is that important to you? Are you open to learning a new language? It's not easy, sis. When this brain gets old, it's hard. Can you make it? The visa process, you have to assess What kind of visa are you going to need? Now, if you're a single, older woman, I assume you are of retirement age. So you want to look at the retirement visa process, the costs. Do you qualify? The timeline, because some places you have to get a temporary for a year, like Mexico, you renew it for 3 years and then you get permanent. Panama is a lot easier. Other places are a lot easier. So make sure you address that. What is the cost of living like? I just watched a guy talking about Medellin, Colombia. And he also mentioned some cons like crime rate, poverty. How comfortable are you with those? Important thing, because it's not a vacation, sis. You're not deciding, oh, I'm going to live there for 2 years. Most of us say, this is where I'm going to die. And I know it sounds cold, but that's our reality in this temporada, in this phase of life, right? Cost of living are there other expats there? Are there other people like you? Although the attraction is you want to have as many people who look like you, but it could be a hindrance because then you stay in what I call the bubble, and then you don't get to explore your new home and expand and grow. We talk about the distance. What about the culture? Do you think that's going to be a problem for you? How do they view women, children, crime, the government, corruption? Some people have trouble with that. Cleanliness, disease. You got to do your homework, sis. You need to look at all that. That's why if you are thinking of moving abroad and you're saying, I'm going to do it in 3 months, I don't think it's doable. You give yourself a little bit more time. All right? I think I did about 1.5 to 2 years. You may not have the luxury of staying that long, but at a minimum, a year. Don't just pack up everything and rush anywhere without doing your homework. And this is what this video is about, to get you to think and put your pen to paper and do the work. Research, research, research. Number 5, I think, or 4. Your finances, we talked about that. You really need to do a budget. Now, once you do your budget on this side where you are, your house payment, your mortgage, your car payment, insurance, food, transportation, and other responsibilities you may have, debt, then you need to look at the cost of living where you are considering. And again, if you went down to 2 countries, you got to do a comparative analysis. Let's say you're looking at the average, nothing is written in stone. No one can tell you you're going to spend exactly this much money, but you say you get yourself a range between Panama and let's say in Thailand, Panama and Ecuador, Panama and Mexico, right, or Costa Rica. Your 2 favorite places, make sure you do a comparative. And how do you get that information? By watching videos, by talking to people such as myself. And I'm also, don't you remember that, show you an average budget, what I'm thinking, okay? Because there's a lot of information out there that tells you you can stay here on a really, really small budget. I would never tell you that because I don't think you can. But there's some people who tell you you can be here for $1,000 a month. I don't know how they do it. That is not my forte, and I would never tell an older person to just come on a really strange, tight budget, because things happen, sis. And then what happens when you cannot even meet the basic need? You're just going to have to take a collection and go back home. And go back home to what? If you sold your home, you're going to have to stay with your children, with the sister. No bueno. All right. With the budget, you also want to consider another budget, which is your relocation budget. Your relocation budget would include airfare. If you wanted to kind of check the place out, we call those scouting trips. You got a budget for that. And these flights are not cheap these days, right? You want to look at transportation, your Uber rides, your Airbnbs. Like right now in Panama, it is high season. So hotels are not going to give you discounts, all right? And there are no specials. because they know they have a lot of people who want to come. It's just business, supply and demand, right? Airbnb costs, food costs. So if you wanted to go do 2 scouting trips, one in one place, one to the other, round trip, and then when you're ready to do your visa process, another trip, and like in Panama, you do a temporary visa, that's one trip, then you have another trip to get the permanent visa. It adds up, sis. So you have got to crush the numbers. You cannot be in La La Land. I was talking to a sister doing a relocation, not relocation, a consultation, and I was telling her the cost of the visa. She was shocked. She thought she could just, sign up and go on a website and apply. We don't do that here. These are the kind of things you need to know wherever you're going, what is the process like? Here, you have to have an attorney. Some other places, you can have what they call a facilitator that you pay. Somebody who's a specialist is going to hold your hand through the process. Well, if you don't do the research, you won't know that, right? Okay, so that budget needs to be tight. And if you say, like this person said, well, I don't have money for that, then that means you're going to come here sight unseen. And I know some people who've done it. I haven't followed with them to see how it's going, but when you meet them the first time, they say, I just packed up and came. But as a single older female who wants to live abroad, is that recommended? I would say not. I would say not. Because again, sometimes it's better to stick to the devil that you know than trying to learn a new system. All right? And please don't tell me, oh, you're telling me this because you're not here. Please do not think that I don't empathize. I have family. I am aware of the challenges. Yes, ma'am. All right, the next one, visa. Okay, visa costs. You can also add that to your budget, but now in Panama, because so many people are coming, the cost to get your visa has gone up. It's gone up. Lots of attorneys are doing those, and it runs the gamut from 1,800 to 3,000 up. So it depends on who you get. So that's why when you do a consultation call with me, I give you 2 or 3 names, and then you call them. You have like a free Zoom call with each one of them, ask them what's included, and then do a comparison based on your comfort level with the attorney, right? All right, number 6. Now you start thinking about, okay, what do I need to do back home, here at home, wherever you are? What do I need to do to get ready? Because if I tell you you need about a year, you need to start decluttering and downsizing from the onset, right? That's why you have to be firm with your decision. Yes, I want to do this. Oh, well, I don't know. I have debt, I have this. Let me wait. Let me push it 2 years. That's a decision you have to make. But if everything is clear and you want to go, you need to start decluttering. That means getting rid of stuff. Because if you leave it towards the end, as a single, older woman, alone, it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be overwhelming. All right? So start the decluttering process. Decide what you're going to do with your furniture, your house. Sell, lease, rent. Maybe an adult child will stay in it. A friend will rent it so you get some extra income, which is never a bad thing. Are there things you want to keep? Yes, you can ship stuff here, but it costs money. Don't blow your budget. You are an older, single, retired. There's some things you don't need. You need to live simply, minimalist living, right? That's the easiest way to go. All right. Your car. What are you going to do with your car? Do you have a car? Here in Panama City, I don't have a car. I went from driving a Volvo to no car, carrying stuff on my back. This is also a mind shift, a paradigm shift. So you don't get caught up with the appearances that used to drive your life back there. where people used to see you, oh, this is Mrs. So-and-so, and there are certain things people think about you when they see you. Well, here, first of all, you're anonymous. People don't know you unless you are in the bubble. But if you don't shed that, it's gonna be like something carrying you, weighing you down. All right, so is that what you want to do with the car situation? Or I didn't get my license when I came here. Do you want to get your driver's license and drive here? You have the funds to get another car? Do you want to drive in this crazy traffic over here? That's your decision, sis. Put it on the budget. Put it in the budget. On the budget. In the budget. All right. Number 7, build community. Start building community from wherever you are. That means you start watching my videos. You start watching other people's videos. You taking notes. I tell people you need to get like a book where you are taking notes. When people ask questions in a Facebook group, sometimes they answer questions that you have. Watch people, how they move around. Look at their facial expression. Are they happy? What are they saying about their new home? Because those who are bad-mouthing the country, you don't want to keep watching them. Okay? All right. So start making connection. Ask friend request. Ask people, can I be your friend? Can I ask some questions? You start from over there so that when you come here, you can say, hey, I'm here. Yeah, some question. Can we have coffee? Then you have some support. And that's what we at SWRA, I mean, SWRA is an organization. You're not going to come here and join SWRA right away, but you certainly can call me. And all my contacts are on my YouTube channel and also on the Facebook page of the same name, Single Women Retiring Abroad. All right. Number 8, do some consultation. Let's see you doing all this information gathering. It can be overwhelming. I also have another list for you. It calls Move Abroad Checklist. So go through that list. You may not follow, time-wise, but just make sure you're gonna say, I did this, I did this, I did this. I met a sister today. It was so encouraging to me that a lot of things that she said, I listen, I remember you said this, I remember you said that, and I'm like, and she came with her family, they have their visas because they follow the process. Now, if you want to go by yourself and try to find things on your own, it's going to take you time and you're going to make mistakes. Okay? All right, the next one is, so you can do some consultation. I do consultations. You go to my on my calendar and you book a call, and then you come with your questions, I answer them. Let's say you feel overwhelmed, you can get you organized and give you like a step-by-step, and then that's when I give you all the resources. This is the driver you call to pick you up. This is the attorneys you can call to pick you up. These are a few of the Airbnbs you can call. These are some of the areas that are most popular with our people. That's where we kind of hang out because, you just need a soft landing. You just want to be able to get here and hit the ground running. And a lot of people are doing it, sis. It's not that hard. But I know you want to feel you're in community, and SWRA is here. If you're single, older, retired, and you want to retire here full-time and you want to live here full-time, and your mindset is that you want to live in community, then you can talk about joining SWRA because you have to be vetted, okay? All right, so join the WhatsApp groups, join the Facebook groups, ask people if you can befriend them so that you can say, oh, I have a couple of people on the ground. When I get here, I can reach out to them because not all of them will respond, but some will, and that's what you want. Now, how do you deal with your family? That's number 9. Somebody said, a couple of people I've read said, don't tell anybody you're leaving. But if you're like 75 and you're making this audacious decision to move abroad, somebody's going to know. You're going to have to let your children know. You don't want to get your bags packed and say, hey, y'all, I'm leaving. It may not go over very well. Don't do that because they're still your family and family is everything, okay? Even though you're moving abroad, they're still your family. So I leave it up to you to decide when you tell them. If you know you have children who are very negative and are going to have a fit, you may want to wait till you're closer to exiting to tell them. But otherwise, if you have supportive family members and friends, yeah, who you think they're going to be happy for you, yeah. When I decided to move, it was like, oh, okay, I figured you would because I'm an independent person and I've taken trips to Europe by myself, and they're like, yeah, we're not surprised. But if your grandma who helps, take care of the kids, and all of a sudden you say you're leaving, they're gonna panic. They're gonna guilt trip you. So you got to get your mindset on how you're gonna deal with those family members. And do you have any responsibilities to family members? If you're 75, do you have a 95-year-old mom that you're taking care of? Do you have siblings? Have you shared the load? And I said that in a video. This is not when you decide to relocate that you have to deal with those relationships. They should have started a long time ago. That mama is getting older in years and we are the children. How are we going to do it together? It's not one person doing it, it's we. So you got to work on that, sis, okay? How you tell them, how you navigate this relationship going forward, because 75 years old, we're closer to the end. How is that going to work if something happens to me and I get sick? You have to have these conversations. Do you have your legal papers in order? Your will? And if you have property and other things, your trust, because the will may not be enough. Talk to your attorney. Hopefully you have an attorney that you can talk to give you some consistent legal advice. And the paperwork that you might have done, like a trust and a living will and do not resuscitate, wherever you go in, probably not going to apply. They don't apply here in Panama. Different country, different rules, different laws. Gotta look into that. And you might be like, wow, I never thought about that. Yes, that's why we're having this conversation, sis. This is for you, free of charge. Now, the rest of the videos, like little piecemeal about banking and all that, you can have separate videos. This is like, I'm giving you the chicken caboodle. I'm giving you the whole thing in a short video. All right, next, handle your debt. You don't want to retire with large credit card debt. And I've told people, if you have $30,000, for example, in credit card debt, you got to get rid of that before you move abroad. So you may want to delay a little bit. And what are you going to do to pay the debt? Maybe just get a little part-time job. Easier said than done. I know, sis. I know. But I think it would be hard for you to come here on a very small Social Security while you're carrying that much debt. You won't be able to enjoy yourself or relax. And yes, it would be a very difficult, sad situation that something like that would hold you back. But that is the reality, right? Okay. And then I say, consider SWRA. Again, once you say, oh, Maggie, I'm going to be coming over here and then I'm going to get myself situated. I meet all the criteria. Yes, we go have coffee. We talk about your story, your expectation, and see if you're a good fit. And even with all that, I'm still finding out every day that some people are not a good fit. Because when we first started SWRA, we were taking everyone and everyone, but not everyone's mindset is where mine is. So there has to be a coming together, a kumbaya, to make this model work, to say we're going to support each other as we age, as something happens to us. All right? And then this is the last one that I had, is supportive, looking for support on the ground. And again, I advise you to start from wherever you are, USA. Most of you are in USA. Start reaching out. I have people I talked to from before, and when they come, they're like, "Oh my God, look at you! You look the same." I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And they say, "You look exactly like you look on your videos." Yes, this is me. There's nothing different. I don't wear a mask or anything. This is me, right? But it's nice to have contact when you land here, that you don't feel like a fish out of water. You can say, oh, message me. How about this? How about that? People do that all the time. And I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to answer if you answer. All right, sis. This is it. This is a free webinar. This is not going to cost you anything. I'm going to send you all the checklists of the things to help you get yourself a binder and put those in there and then follow it, sis. I'm not saying this is all in all. I'm not saying this is all the information you need, but it just brings you, it kind of gives you focus, right? So you can have a plan as to how you attack this in a systematic way. And I'm not going to spend time telling you the visa process. That's another video, right? So that's why I said, after you get this, round macro view of the process, then you can piecemeal. You can go into my channel and then search different topics, and then you can find the information that you need. All right, sis, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find it helpful, because you, my audience, are the single older woman who's considering living abroad, living in Panama, moving to Costa Rica or wherever. But Panama is my home now, and I can only intelligently tell you what I know about Panama, because that is where I live, and I'm going to be here about 3 years. So, I mean, I'm not a veteran. There are other people who've been here a lot longer, but I know a little bit, right? And I've been here 3 years, and I'm still happy with my decision. That's what you need to know. That after I move, how am I gonna feel? How am I gonna feel after the honeymoon is over? After the dust has settled? Am I gonna be depressed? Am I gonna be able to make friends? Will the language be a big barrier? You got to think of all these things, sis. So your mental status, how you handle difficult situation, how you strategize, how you problem solve is going to be the determinants of your success as you live abroad. All right? So I hope to see you in the next video. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. And if you know of any friends who are considering moving to Panama, moving abroad, those principles apply to anyone moving anywhere. But this is Panama, the Panama episode. So I hope you enjoy it. God loves you. I love you. Au revoir. A la prochaine. Bye. Baby. Tiene hambre. Oh.
With the moon.
Yeah.
He was like doing his first steps.
Hey, beautiful. You like you want more pictures of me, huh?